All right, yeah, we're live. Welcome to Untitled Studios, Chatterbox number 18. Hang on tight, man. You have no idea where this is going to go. We were just talking about Kaepernick and the national anthem and all that good stuff, and now we're talking to you. Aha, sucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hello, internet land. Yeah. Stabby is really upset about the Kyrie Irving trade.
Oh yeah, I have no idea what that even is. Yeah. Feel free to explain that, man. It's not like I'm against sports. I just generally don't know that much about them.
Oh yeah, well Kyrie Irving was playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James's. You know, I assume you know him at least. Yeah. LeBron James's team, and he just got traded. Like, he was basically the second best player, and apparently he wanted out for whatever reason. So he got traded to the Celtics for Isaiah Thomas and some other people that I don't really remember. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting because he was, he's one of the best players in the league, and for whatever reason, wanted out of there.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I followed a little. I don't follow sports as much as I used to, so I don't really care to find out like what the actual reasons were, like actually dig into it. But I thought it was pretty crazy that he got traded.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that could go on. Somebody might not want to live in that city. And I'm not saying like that city specifically, just but like any city in general.
Yeah, but Cleveland especially.
Well, I mean, you might be in like a San Francisco sports team, and you don't really want to live in California. You prefer to live out in the Midwest or something. Or you might be in the Midwest and you want to go live in like New York or something, so you want to get on to like a New York team. I can totally see that. I can see that happening.
I think he may have maybe had a little ego, and he just didn't want to be in LeBron James's shadow the whole time.
Oh, that's perfectly reasonable. You want a chance to be the big fish.
And it happens quite a bit. Yeah,
I bet you there's also a lot of stuff behind the scenes as far as how people get along.
Mm. Yeah, it could be. Although, you know what, LeBron James seems like a really fucking decent dude.
Yeah,
he's might
not be just the one guy though. I'm saying like the whole team.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It could have been other guys he didn't fucking like. And actually, Kyrie Irving, I haven't seen much of him, but I remember he actually went on the Pete Holmes show, and like he was doing his impression of Bane. Like fucking, he was actually a pretty funny dude. So yeah, who knows what the fuck.
But you never know. I mean, there's always situations where like, behind the scenes, these two players didn't get along, or that guy didn't really like, his coach, or the coach didn't really like him, or any one of the other things, I mean, we just will never fucking know.
Yeah, or not until 20 years later, if ever. Yeah.
Well, it's generally considered unprofessional to like fucking spill the beans in that regard. Like that's fucking. People don't want to know what goes in the sausage necessarily. You don't know the recipe for the sausage. You just fucking make good sausage.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't care at all why. I was just like, wow, holy shit.
Sort of like the Kaepernick thing. I think a big part of the blowback on that was sort of like a lot of the people were like, look, man, the fucking national anthem is symbolic. It's total nonsense about the whole thing anyway, but you can't fucking remind people of politics when they're watching shit to forget about all the stuff that they don't fucking want to hear about. And make them fucking unhappy and feel fucking sick and miserable and dealing with all this fucking politics.
Yeah, it's like sports is an escape from having to deal with all that fucking bullshit, and now you're dragging that shit into it.
And in any, to be fair, like in any state in any city, fucking, you would think San Francisco would be the one to be like, fucking do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I was surprised that they even cared.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you live right there. Is it? I mean, San Francisco itself. I mean, I know the team. All right. Yeah. I mean, I thought it may have been just a team itself, but like the actual city, like most of the city people were actually against it.
Well, I didn't really talk to that many people in San Francisco, but I would say probably most of the people in San Francisco either didn't care or approved.
Right.
It would be very unlikely that you're going to get a lot of people, except for the highest income bracket people in San Francisco, the ones who are like you know, like essentially like the 1%, sort of like as Bernie Sanders fans would call it. Like they probably would give a shit because they're probably more conservative because they don't want to pay more taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say that's definitely one of the most ultra liberal cities. You know, way accepting of homosexuals way before anyone else, and the X-Men too. They're really accepting of the X-Men.
Okay, I don't know who that. Like the X-Men, the cartoon, or
yeah, the comic book. In the comic book, like at some point, not that far back, they all moved to San Francisco because they were mutant friendly.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Yeah,
which I assume is
just parable on that, though, right?
Surprisingly, no. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan.
Wow. Okay, so his thing is the X-Men is essentially a fucking gay parable.
No. Oh, okay.
It's about like, it's essentially about being gay. Like here, you're born a mutant, you're born gay. Nobody accepts the mutants. Nobody accepts the gays, and it was sort of like a big. It really was essentially the same storyline as being a homosexual.
Yeah, I thought it was more like that. Like, yeah, I guess I always kind of viewed it as not only gay, but like any, like even minorities or.
Oh yeah, I could also.
I thought I thought of it as just kind of a general for all that kind of shit.
Yeah. Although speaking about San Francisco, I had two thoughts that were really bizarre. And the first one would be like, I think it'd be really funny if friends started holding hands. Like, how fucking weird would that be?
Like, the people would assume you're gay.
No, it's just like if that was what everybody did. Like, just imagine, like, you know, one day everybody was like, you know what? I think friends should all hold hands now.
Yeah,
like
the hobbits.
Like a biker gang going down the street, all the dudes just fucking in a chain holding hands.
that'd be
How fucking cool would that be? It'd just be fun to watch.
Yeah, you would be appropriating Hobbit culture in that situation, dude.
Appropriating Hobbit culture.
Yeah. Have you read the books? Like in the books, like hobbits are pretty like whenever they they're going anywhere, they're holding hands and fucking that kind of shit. They don't do it in the movies.
Like children, and through the whole thing with hobbits is they're little kids.
Yeah, like they're little people, but they really are really simplistic and like carefree.
I mean, they're representative of children. So a lot of people don't know, but the author of all the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit was a children's author.
Right.
Those books were intended to be for young children. That's why they were like not as gritty as the movies wanted them to be, and they didn't really get as in depth as everybody wanted them to get into. He was going to rewrite them as an alternate, like more adult fiction. He never got around to redoing it, but he was never going to change the originals.
Right.
He was just there was going to be like you could choose to read the one for kids or the one for grown-ups. That's kind of where he was aiming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the hobbits were essentially the characters that were to draw the little kids in because they were like children.
Right.
So it was like, this is who you identify with because you're a little kid. These are little kids. They're little. Everybody's bigger than them. They're very,
pretty helpless.
Exuberant when it's, like kids are when everything's exciting. Essentially.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I really love those. It's kind of funny because I didn't. I completely ignored them until the movies came out. I didn't read any of the books as a kid or anything.
Oh, wow.
And basically watched it was actually, I didn't even see the first one in theaters because I still didn't really give a shit. I thought I was like, that's dumb. And then I think I was in like a Blockbuster or a Hollywood Video. Remember those? Yeah. But anyways, I was in there. I was talking to my friend on the phone, and I was like, oh shit, the Lord of the Rings movie. Should I rent it? And he's like, dude, just buy it. And I'm like, really? Like, it's that really? And I was like, yeah, dude, just buy it. Yeah. So I bought the DVD or whatever, and basically I watched it and I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome, dude. Like, I love this shit. And, I instantly went from not giving a shit and not fucking even interested at all to fucking absolutely loving it. And then basically when the second one came out, which was shortly after that, because I mean the DVD is releasing, so like the next movie is pretty shortly thereafter. But basically I went from that to watching the second movie the day it came out by myself. Like that's how bad everybody go with. Although I did that shit all the time anyway, I never cared. And then watching the second one, I was like, I can't wait that long to find out what happens. So I went and bought the books. I bought all the books actually, and I didn't even go to Return of the King. I actually went and I bought The Hobbit and all of them, and I read them from The Hobbit all the way through, dude.
Oh yeah. So you read the Hobbit book before you saw the Hobbit movies too.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Read the Lord of the Rings books before you saw the movies. You saw the movies first.
Right. Right.
So you probably have less of a I fucking hate this and that aspect of each movie and kind of thing, because it was sort of like, oh, these are great movies, and then it was like, oh, these books are even better. As opposed to like a lot of people like me, like my mom read me those books like before I was in kindergarten, and in kindergarten I read them myself.
All right.
And so like they're a huge part of my childhood. Like I've read them so many times. And like I thought the Lord of the Rings movies were great. Like they did leave out just a couple little things that I thought would have been super fun.
Which dude, there's when Elijah Wood gets interviewed, there was one part that he said that almost everybody says that they left out that they were pissed off at. Or what would you say yours out of everything? What would you say got left out that you were most disappointed in?
And I totally understand why they left it out, but I think what really made the story come full circle was when the hobbits returned to Hobbiton and found that the place had been taken over by the big men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mean instead of the 30-minute slow-mo homoerotic
where they see the hobbits go back to like their home and they're like, oh, you mean the war was fucking everywhere?
Yeah, the party.
There wasn't a reason for them. There wasn't no reason at all for them to be there. Like their land was in danger too.
Right.
And that's where Saruman actually dies.
Mm. Yeah. Like I like how they fucking took out all the Saruman's goons and shit. Yeah. Like they fucking raised the alarm and fucking like there's the one part where the one guy's like just kind of he's like around the fire and then the goons come up. And he's like, you know what? You're done. You guys get the fuck out of here. Like, you're covered by a shitload of archers here. So, you know what? Your time's up. And then fucking they don't believe him. They're like, whatever. And then they fucking get fucking arrows rained down on them, and they're just scattering, dude. Actually, a really good scene. And yeah, they didn't show how Saruman dies, dude. Or whatever.
They changed it to Grim of Wormtongue pushed him off the tower.
Yeah.
And I thought it was much more interesting that Saruman was defeated at Isengard, and then ended up escaping and taking over the Hobbits' homeland.
Yeah.
They came back and they had to fight him off and get rid of him. I thought that was a super fun part of this story. Mm-hmm. I think that probably would have made it a 4-movie series, and I don't think there ever would have gotten made if they tried to include it.
Yeah, I think Peter Jackson had enough trouble getting the 3 made, like getting anybody to agree to do all 3. Even though, again, well, I guess they couldn't have predicted it, but I mean, the money was made back with just the first one, basically. Yeah. But still.
I think the other thing they could have put in that they didn't really was when the Ents marched to war, so too did the Fangorn Forest itself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It wasn't just the Ents. Like literally, the entire forest went to war, and I think that would have been super fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how that would have translated on the screen.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that, But the thing that most Elijah Wood said that almost everybody, the thing that got left out that people were pissed about was no Tom Bombadil. Yeah, but he didn't really fit anywhere in the movie, dude.
He was a fun part, but I can see them cutting him out. I don't, that was.
Yeah. He was a badass, dude. He could put the ring on and not disappear, and he could see the people when they put the ring on. Like he was a fucking beast, dude. He could sing his way in, and fuck shit up.
It would have been
just by singing.
I think they probably should have, but they did.
Yeah, I understand. Like I said, why they didn't, especially considering how long the movies were anyway.
It's sort of like the end of the series. Like if they'd included the end, if they'd included Tom Bombadil, they probably would have been able. I think the one thing that really, like, above all makes me angry about those is how much of a faggot Frodo was through the whole movie.
Yeah. Although, again, the hobbits are kind of gay in the books, dude. They're pretty gay.
In the books, Frodo is real gung-ho, and he's really, like, a driving force through, like, the first 2. And then when he breaks down, Samwise turns from a sissy pansy boy and steps up to freaking support. But
Yeah,
in
although
the movies they switched the roles, and I felt they switched the roles unnecessarily.
Yeah, although Frodo gets fucked up at nearly every opportunity, dude. Like
but
almost
never
every time
he's never like give up. I'm leaving. It doesn't work. Kind of thing.
That's true, but literally every chance he had where he could have possibly gotten fucked up, he got fucked up, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought that was funny, dude. Like, dude, every chance, dude. Like,
it made it more interesting because he wasn't like a super, invulnerable guy. He was a weak dude.
Yeah, but carrying on. Yeah, but like I said, he got stabbed by the troll. The Mithril coat saves him. He gets stabbed by the fucking ring wraiths at Weathertop. Just everything, dude. Shelob. But yeah,
and every time he's like, "Nope, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm this is what's gonna happen. I'm right here. I'm a tough motherfucker. I'm gonna take this on." And it's not, and that's what really unites the group of the ring or whatever it was. I forget what they called it. Oh man,
the Fellowship
of the Ring. Yeah, the Fellowship of the Ring. That's what really is the uniting force.
Nah.
And then once he leaves them and goes out on his own, he's still really gung ho. But then he starts to break down mentally because of the ring and all the other stuff.
Yeah, it's too overpowering.
Suddenly, who the entire time was like, always like, "Let's go home. Let's get out of this. We don't belong here." It's like, you know what? You dragged me along this far. I'm gonna make sure you make it the rest of the way.
Right. Yeah. Although again, at the end, he doesn't do it. It's fucking Gollum's clumsiness that fucking made him a hero.
Well, Gollum bites the finger off with the ring in it, and then he throws Gollum into the lava out of spite, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no, isn't it? Wait, does he throw him in? I thought he just kind of slipped and fell in. Didn't he?
I thought
remembering that.
Yeah, you know what? You could be right. I could be misremembering it too. It's been a while since I've read or watched.
Yeah, well, and again, I remember in the book, and I can't remember if they say this in the movie or not, but in the book, for sure, right there at the end, when the Gollum's last little attack before they actually go into the mountain, he actually says, if you don't keep your word or whatever, may you be cast into the fires of Mount Doom yourself. And it's almost
Gollum gloats over getting the prize back, but loses his balance and falls into the lava below.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's and the way the Lord of the Rings thing works is it's fucking anything you kind of prophesize like that automatically somehow comes true. Like anybody that says anything like, "Oh, this might happen," or like how with the ring wraith, they're like, "No man can fucking beat me," and they're like, "No, I got beat by a woman and a hobbit." Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I am no man.
I love that character. I love that fucking bitch, dude.
I thought she was one of the cooler characters in the story because she was just like the one who was like, "No, I am gonna fight in this war too. It's my my life is at stake. My country's at stake. I'm gonna be part of it."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's part of what I love about her. And they don't do anything about her. They leave that out too. Her falling in love with Faramir, right? They don't. Do they touch on that?
Yeah. In the books, her and Faramir were all but married till like the very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or they were both recovering together, wherever the fuck they were recovering together.
No, in the books, first she was going for
Aragorn.
Yeah. Aragorn, and then she was all over him, and he was just like not interested.
Yeah, well, he was in love with Liv Tyler, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. And then she went after Faramir, yeah.
Yeah, well, even when Faramir she was there injured, she was still even when she was recovering there, she was still kind of longing for Aragorn, which doesn't make any sense. Like I think everybody knew at that time by then, but then like Faramir kind of woos her a little bit and gets her.
Well, it's sort of like it was like Faramir's prize. It's like, look, I know your brother's dead and your father like tried to kill you and he died too.
Right.
We're gonna throw you a little punani at the end.
Right. Gotta give the poor guy something. Yeah, which I mean, out of the three, like he was the most kind of noble one anyway. Like not
out of everybody. Yeah, he was probably more noble by far than Aragorn, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely more than his brother and his dad, though. Yeah. Is anybody watching this, by the way?
According to the thing, we have 2 watchers. So if you're watching comments and I'm watching comments, then it's just us.
Actually, I hadn't connected to it yet. So somebody's watching.
It might still be Mickeyest of Town. I don't know, or somebody else.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay, there we go.
I had another thought about hands. One that I thought was really weird if you think about it.
About what?
It's really weird thought about hands if you think about it. Prostitutes, their competition is a hand. Because realistically, they have to figure out a price that's low enough that you would rather pay them than just go jack off.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because you're not really competing with the wives, because I think a lot of the reasons, well, there's quite a few different reasons why guys go to prostitutes, but yeah, it's not something that you're generally getting from the wife, I guess. So yeah, you're more competing with the guy just jacking off.
Exactly. Oh, Juno's Ben is watching while building workflows, so. I don't know what workflows are. That means Juno's Ben is definitely smarter than I am. Good for you, man. Sounds productive, much like unlike what we're doing. But yeah, like how demoralizing would that be if you really think about it? Like, I'm competing with like some dude's right hand. Like I gotta offer enough of I gotta get enough money that it makes up for what I want. But I can't charge too much, because if I do, then he'll just be like, "Yeah,
I'll just jack off." It's not worth it. Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking. It's a little dark if you think about it.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Oh, what was it? So I don't know if anybody else has seen this. I haven't really seen anything about this because I don't necessarily follow that much politics. But there's a sheriff in Arizona, Joe Arpaio, who was found guilty of criminal contempt. And essentially, it looks like what he was doing was really gunning for illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
And because he was so gung ho, apparently it also led to the detention of some Latinos who were citizens or legal residents. Doesn't clarify with the detention of those people what the circumstances were. Like, was it legitimately like there was valid suspicion? Or is it just a case of like, well, you must be racist because you put people in jail just for being brown?
And it's probably a little both. I mean, Arpaio, I used to really like him because he would do shit like, because he's a sheriff of Maricopa County, which is where Phoenix is, basically, the county that Phoenix is in. He would do shit like when the prisoners were stealing boxers. Basically, like he decided to fucking dye them all pink, so nobody wanted to fucking steal them anymore. So because they were prison issue boxers or whatever, but everybody was hoarding them and stealing them when they were just white boxers. So he basically took them all and dyed them all pink so that nobody wanted to steal them anymore. But then he also kind of does. At least tiptoe the line of going overboard on pushing the boundaries of what's legal and what's lawful.
He actually forced inmates to wear pink underwear. It even goes over it right here.
Yeah. Oh, is it in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was decade. That was a long time ago. That was like 20 years ago or something.
Well, here's my thing: was the law broken? At the end of the day, was the law broken? Did he ever violate the law?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he overstepped a little.
Well, but keep in mind, you can be detained for up to I think 48 hours without any charges. After which they can release you and you're free to go, but they you can't come back after them for that. That's just they're allowed to detain you.
Right. It's crazy, man. So yeah, he's not.
Part of my issue is that they were telling him he couldn't do that because he had to let people go whether or not they were illegal. So it was like, you can't detain people just because you suspect them for being illegal citizens. It's like, that's the whole point of having that detention thing.
Right.
That's why you're allowed to hold them for 2 days, is because then you can find out, we suspect that they've committed a crime. This gives us enough time to prove it and to get enough evidence to bring charges.
Yeah, yeah, and I doubt they were just pulling people in for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
would
said,
strongly suspect that there were other crimes involved too, in most cases.
Yeah, yeah, because they were talking about, like, they were already complaining about Trump pardoning him if that happened, and it hadn't happened yet, but they were bitching about it already.
So speaking of that, this is the thing I saw just today on Twitter. White House has reportedly prepared paperwork for Trump's Sheriff Arpaio pardon. So he hasn't pardoned him yet, but he strongly suggested in his speech that because he's strongly considering pardoning him because in Sheriff Joe's trial he didn't have a jury, which is in direct violation of his constitutional rights as a citizen. That trial that he went that they found him guilty. They should have had a jury.
Right.
To make that decision. It should not have just been a judge.
Yeah.
If he does pardon him, I'm 100% behind it because he did not get a trial by jury. Period. End of story.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Even if he was guilty at this point, honestly, even if he's completely guilty at this point, he did not receive a proper trial, and I think Trump should absolutely pardon him.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I said, that's right in my neighborhood. You know,
I just thought it was interesting because it was Arizona. But the other thing is, it's like if it was a case of like murder or something, I wouldn't agree. But this is a case of like he might have, blurred the lines a little bit on the 48-hour incarceration in order to get more illegal immigrants to ship over to INS. So ICE or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is now. Is it ICE?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was Immigration and Nationalization, but yeah, I have no idea what the fuck it's going by now.
But I thought that was interesting. But this is a super right-wing website, Blunt Force Truth. So I don't know for sure if that means he's going to get there or not. And then I thought this was kind of funny, just like as we talked to Antifa a lot. But Reuters refers to violent Antifa protesters as peace activists.
Dude.
I'm like, how long is that?
Goddamn amazing.
That is so starting to fall apart.
Dude, it's done. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous at this point. I mean, there's very few people that believe it, even Antifa themselves, or anybody that fucking claim. Sorry, real quick segue. It fucking so irritates me that fucking John McCain was backing those fucking Antifa fucks, dude.
Oh yeah, he's calling them angels, right?
Yeah, dude. It's fucking McCain needs to. I know last week I said something about like, hey, it's fucked up wishing death on somebody, but I kind of wish he would fucking die of old age already. I don't want him to get assassinated or anything. But, yeah. Considering how much I used to fucking love that guy to how much I can't stand him now, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Well, isn't he? Is he Arizona?
Yeah. He's been senator here for fucking ever, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, like, how do you go? Because he was Boxer and fucking Dianne Feinstein that need to just fucking go.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Sick of them.
But yeah, up until he lost to George Bush and the GOP primaries, George W. Yeah, he fucking completely tarnished his image from that point forward, just constantly over and over.
Super fucking corporate.
Right. Like, it was considered
the fucking in the pocket of the military industrial complex and like what do you call it? I keep forgetting the name of the company that does all the military stuff here, but he basically has been their person forever. And done everything to get as further and further in their good graces and really fucking get into their pockets.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, he was considered for the longest time like he's the maverick one. He's the one that'll fucking, do what's right no matter what. And it turns out that wasn't really true even back then. Although, well, again, he I guess back when he was in the fucking military, and like his dad was a pretty important guy, and like an ambassador to wherever the fuck. But he was a fighter pilot in Vietnam and got shot down and was a POW. John McCain was.
I've heard a lot of stuff about how he gave up all sorts of information or something like that.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but he did. He's the one that when they were filming him, because they have him say shit in front of camera about. They're treating us great. He's blinking, the one that did the Morse code blinking out torture, the word torture.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing I was going to say is everybody accuses him of giving out information, and it's but yeah, he was being tortured, man. Everybody breaks. There's no I was actually listening to Joe Rogan talking to an ex-CIA guy yesterday, and the guy was talking about it, and he's like, yeah, everybody's going to break. Sooner or later they're going to torture you. They're going to get you to talk.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, how much information would he have had that could really fucking hurt anybody? Yeah, exactly. As just a pilot, he's not the fucking commander or any of that.
And at
shit.
The end of the day, once he was captured, I'm sure that they took that into account and did whatever they needed to do to make changes for that. You know what I mean? Once the pilot goes down, they're like, all right, we've got to change our date codes or pass codes or whatever,
exactly
security phrases and whatnot. But,
so the only thing it has is either useless or almost useless.
Yeah, he didn't know the fucking what do you call it? The tactics and the fucking plan for the whole war.
Yeah, or the schedule of the fucking, going forward, the schedule of the planes and what they're going to be flying. Yeah, anything really useful.
But even then, even if he did, at the end of the day, and this is something our government has known for forever and has trained their military and their spies. Everybody breaks. You will eventually break, and knowing that you're going to break, and not being, and not basically thinking you're a terrible person because you've broken, gives you, the advantage of having a better chance of having more control over what information you do give and how that information is given.
Right. So just kind of finally snapping and blurting it all out, you can be like, all right, here's what I know, and that's it. That's all I know.
Yeah, exactly.
And be give them a little bit and be like, look, that's all I know.
Or even still having the ability to lie, but keep it close enough to the truth that they can't tell the difference.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's you're better off expecting to break and planning it out in advance than you are thinking you're going to withstand whatever kind of torture or crazy shit they come up with.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking of the, do you ever see do you ever watch Robot Chicken?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you ever see the one with Rambo where he's being tortured by the guys? He's being tortured by the Vietnamese guys or whatever. And they're doing all kinds of shit to him, and he just keeps giving them name, rank, and serial number. And at the end, it's basically when they said please, he's like, "That's all I was waiting for," and he gives them all the information just because they said please.
Man,
I don't know. I thought it was funny. Fuck you if you don't think it's funny.
A Robot Chicken was awesome. Everything about that was awesome.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing, dude. Really funny shit.
I just was distracted. Juno's dad was talking about a Cal exit. It sounds like wishful left wing kind of thinking and stuff. I wonder now. I'm gonna have to look that shit up.
Yeah, I've heard about it for a little bit now, but I didn't really take it seriously. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of fed up with California. As long as you leave us San Diego, dude.
Let me fucking get the fuck out.
Right. Yeah. Or basically, I don't know. It's I don't know, man. You can't. You have to have access to San Diego, and at least as far up to Carlsbad. But beyond that, and Magic Mountain, we have to be able to go to Magic Mountain.
First and foremost, let me make this clear: of all the 50 states, one state has the right to leave, and that's Texas. Texas is the state who legally has grounds that they can choose to leave. The other 49 states they're locked together, and that's it. So, if California tried to leave, it would technically be a violation of federal and state laws.
Right.
They want to. I'm not saying they wouldn't be allowed. I'm just saying, technically speaking.
Yeah, they would have to be allowed, though. That's the thing. That it's not something they can just decide to do.
Yeah, and I would personally think that if that did happen, there'd be a fair chance of the conservatives in California just wiping out everybody else.
Right. Yeah, even though they're in the minority, they got they got all the guns and shit.
The thing is, like, so there's always this talk about like how the left wing is gonna sort of go like fucking brown suit, brown shirt, and just take over and like, basically turn into like the Nazi brigade to take over everybody and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that's fucking hilarious, dude.
And the reality is, the conservatives, the ones who are like against that, are like they've got all the guns and in most cases all the food.
Right.
So I don't know why people are as concerned about that as they are.
All right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I view the leftists or any of the ones that think they would actually try have a possibility of pulling any of that off. They're pathetic, dude.
Well, my concern is what we're seeing now is the stuff in schools.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. Basically giving out extremely one-sided education. People are being taught a lot of things that just aren't true.
Yeah.
And
the politicization
rigor is given and challenging people's thoughts and beliefs.
Yeah, and actually, and this is something that gives me a great deal of hope. Is my son was actually complaining about that, and he's like, "Dude, all it is we're just memorizing shit, and they're just fucking telling us this. Like, we don't have to think. We don't really have to think at all.
Yeah,
you know, they don't want, and it's been that way. Honestly, it was that way when I was in school too. But it's just gotten worse as far as the political stuff. I mean, they didn't really teach you to think critically in school, in public school. Or very little of it did. Most of it was rote learning. Fucking, hey, memorize this shit.
And in junior high, no. But I had the high school I went to, we were the first class to go through it. It was a brand new school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a real benefit of all the teachers were young and were really enthusiastic and really did emphasize teaching people to think. Because they were still brand new high school teachers and they hadn't been wrung out and fucking destroyed by parents complaining and bullshit fucking tests and exams and fucking what are the fucking CalStar or something like that. There's this test in California like where you have to, if everybody doesn't get a certain score, then the school gets in trouble. And
it's that no kid left behind shit, dude.
Well,
some kids are just dumb.
Well, it's nonsense, man. If students aren't learning, it's not necessarily because the teachers aren't doing their job.
Right.
And then it's not a fair way to estimate whether or not the school should continue going.
Yeah.
And it puts so much emphasis on teaching what's on that test instead of teaching what people
do. Dude, all they care about, it's fucking crazy, dude. All they care about is those goddamn tests, dude. I shouldn't say all, but it is by far the most thing that they're focused on, dude, is getting these kids to pass. I mean, I understand why they have to, but it's fucking up like actual learning because they're so fucking terrified of having the kids not pass the tests that they have to focus on that and to the exclusion of a lot of other shit, dude. They have to, they have them taking these fucking practice tests and fucking. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Because I remember just taking the assessment tests at the end of the year, and that was it, dude. And now they're taking them all fucking year long, dude.
Yeah, you got to take them like 2 or 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, I think it's more than that. But they're doing it this week, actually, at my son's school. They're doing the fucking practice test this week.
How timely.
Yeah.
Oh, Judo Zen says that California public schools are better than the private ones. That could be. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Especially religious schools, because that's what he went to, like a private religious school.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I would imagine most public schools are better than private religious schools. But then I don't know, man, because I hear some of the stuff that they're teaching in colleges now, and I kind of wonder.
Yeah, what is the difference between ideology and religion at this point?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's not the
there's
same
really
thing.
they're every bit as fanatical, man, and more, dude. Honestly, I think the average fucking person that's ideologically driven as opposed to religiously driven, I think the ideologically driven ones are way more fanatical than the average one that's religiously driven.
Yeah, and now go to your safe space after class. Your homework is to go to your safe space. Say 12 Hail Anita Sarkeesians and
Right.
7-hour Louis Quinns or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Although the stuff I'm kind of teaching my kid, and I think Arizona here that we don't have it anywhere near as much as that shit. It's still there, but not nearly as much as it is, well, especially in California, but the way it is in a lot of places, and especially that I'm teaching him, and just his attitude anyway, is to kind of think that's all bullshit. So I'm like, dude, you're probably gonna have it pretty easy going up against these fucking idiots, dude.
Kids know who fucking won a game. So I mean, like the like nobody loses, nobody wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's all horse shit, and the kids fucking know better. Like they're like, yeah, I did not fucking earn that trophy. They know it.
Yeah, participation trophy is bullshit, dude.
The same thing with the stuff in the schools. Like they realize it. That's why the next generation looks to be more like they look to be fucking almost to the right of fucking Mussolini at this point. Like it's just way too conservative.
Oh man.
Which is why, honestly, I don't want any ideology taught in school. Or if you're going to teach,
it shouldn't be, dude. Yeah, it should
cover all of it or none of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, give everybody a fair view of every form of ideology and let them figure out what the fuck they want or believe. Or don't give them any view of ideology.
And definitely don't be giving them an ideology and treating it like it's fucking fact instead of your opinion. Yeah, that's the ridiculous part is they're treating it like fact. They fucking tug at the heartstrings to make it more effective, to really fucking sink it into you. Like they make it an emotional connection because that's a lot stronger than a fucking intellectual connection.
Yeah,
it's fucking brainwashing, dude. It really is, man. I hate to fucking say that because it sounds too conspiratorial, but it really is, man.
Oh no, it's meant to be. And that's the thing. It's like it used to be on my college campuses. If you were left wing, you didn't have a chance to say anything, and if you were to say anything, they'd basically be hunted and fucking treated like a fucking outcast. And now it's on the reverse. And really, ultimately, what that should teach everybody at this point is that really it shouldn't be about teaching ideologies. You should just be teaching students how to think.
Mm-hmm. Critical thinking, dude. Right. Yeah, that's going to help
social skills and the chance to practice those social skills in a less cutthroat environment than they're going to be eventually. How to network, how to, like I've honestly, one of the things that really bothers me that high schools don't have is a practical living skills.
Right.
I think they should have a practical living skills class that goes over everything to do with credit cards, everything to do with loans, how to fill out resumes, how to do interviews, and how to network. What is networking? How do you do it?
Yeah. They do kind of a cool little thing here. They did it actually from I think when my son was in 5th grade, when he was in elementary school, where they go to this place where it's set up like a almost like a mall kind of thing. And they like each of them have a job doing a certain part. Like my son was doing the bookkeeping and writing checks and shit like that.
Oh, interesting.
And so each of them had different jobs to do, and they kind of practiced doing shit like that, which I thought was really cool, man.
That's not a bad idea. That's a pretty good idea too.
Yeah, it's like role playing.
More beneficial than a lot of the stuff they do teach.
All right. Yeah, because
they should also cover that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, you learn, or almost everybody, I think, not everybody, I guess, but almost everybody learns a lot more by doing than just fucking hearing shit and trying to memorize it, too. So yeah, them doing the play acting like makes it kind of fun for them, and they're gonna fucking learn a lot better that way.
Well, the thing is, I think, what is it? There's multiple ways of learning, and everybody's like different into which one is the most effective for them. So some people learn by reading about it. Some people learn by talking about it. Some people learn by observing it, and some people learn by doing it.
Yeah, or just hearing it. Like some people are better at retaining shit if they read it. Some are better if they hear it.
Yeah, that's what
like I have to hear it. Like just reading it, I'm okay. But yeah, if I actually hear it, it works a lot better. But again, doing it by far works better than either of those two.
No, I mean I can learn things by reading and not have to do it in order to get it. I can absolutely just read about it and know it.
Yeah, I mean I kind of can, but I still have to actually do it for.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is because everybody learns differently, they should be covering all the aspects of each thing.
Right.
So
right.
in any class, you should always be hearing about it, seeing it, reading about it, and doing it.
Yeah.
Covering all the different methods.
Yeah, different way kids learn. Yeah, to cover everybody.
Yeah, and that's
and if you can't, if none of those help you, then fuck you. You're fucking dumb and go. Well, whatever job. I don't want to name a fucking job, but.
Well, see, here's the thing. I like that we have colleges for people who are very intelligent and who are definitely going to go on to, who have the potential to go on for, the really high end jobs. I honestly think there should be alternative schools for people that just aren't college capable. That figures out what they are most capable of and gives them the opportunity to learn as much as they can about that before going into the workforce as well.
Yeah.
So maybe you might think, well, I failed everything and I'm gonna end up like a ditch digger. Well, maybe you might be able to do fucking carpentry really well.
Yeah, or being a mechanic or whatever.
Laying bricks, laying tiles, doing running wires for an electrical company. There's a whole bunch of stuff that is. Yeah,
there's plenty of trades.
A semi.
Yeah, there's plenty of trades that people could definitely be really good at, even though they're kind of dumb at fucking basically everything else in the world.
Yeah, and I'd love to see a school system that includes that as like an option if you're not college capable.
Right.
If you're capable
Yeah,
of college,
instead of just being like, fuck you. Yeah. Instead of just being like, you're on your own, kid.
Yeah, if you're not capable of going to college, it'd be nice if you got to go through this little 2-year kind of thing. Like let's rework it so that's what junior college is.
Yeah, figuring out where you should
go. I'm kind of joking because that would make it more demeaning. But junior college, 2 years, you go to regular college, but maybe like a community school or something like that.
Yeah, junior college was easier than high school, dude, for me.
Oh yeah, junior college is much simpler because A, you take the classes you choose to take, and B, the amount of busy work is cut down pretty substantially. Because the teachers just don't have the time to go through and correct that shit all the time.
Yeah. And it was kind of funny. Like I remember going into what class was it? I think it was like history of Western civilization or whatever. Whatever class that is. And the teacher asking us a question, and him going off because everybody was afraid to answer. He was like, this is the bullshit. He was like, this is the fucking bullshit you get from regular public high schools. You're so terrified of getting the wrong answer because they're gonna spank you if you get it wrong. That he's like, dude, just answer. Like if it's wrong, it's wrong. It's not bad. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how you feel. It's like, oh shit, if I didn't memorize this and get it right on the test, they're gonna yell at me.
Oh, I was never I would just get up in the middle of class and tell teachers off. I never experienced that. I'm too much of an asshole.
Yeah, I didn't have the balls then. I didn't get the balls until about my late teens. Basically after I dropped out of high school. Then I really became a man.
It's not really I don't think that was really the best thing for me, though. To be fair,
yeah, maybe not, but you never know. Might not make any difference because you should be questioning that, and that's something I really instill in my son is, dude, question everything, even the shit I tell him. I'm like, even the stuff I tell you, buddy, you question everything, dude. Don't accept anything on just fucking anybody saying it. Even though I'm not going to fucking lie to him, I still tell him, like, dude, go ahead. I'm not going to get mad. Although we'll see if I if I hold true to that. But I mostly let him figure his own shit out, other than like not being racist or any of the big shit like that. Free speech, not being racist. Like those are really the only things that I'm going to be like, really pressing him on. But other than that, I just want him to figure his own shit out, dude.
You can always just say like, look, maybe I do get mad, maybe I don't, but it's not gonna fucking last forever.
Right. Yeah. And I've definitely stressed that to him. I'm like, dude, sometimes I get frustrated. Like, I'm gonna tell him, like, there's nothing you're gonna do ever, that I'm not gonna fucking still love you. So, just, don't take it personally if I blow up. It's more me being frustrated, and it's not about, me being pissed at you. It's just me being frustrated.
Oh, and then the other thing, my parents and something I did when I was a counselor, I always made clear was, look, man, I might get angry at the behavior, but that doesn't mean I don't like you. So, like, your actions might upset me, but that's not who you are.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I just saw Juno's Den. Nothing turns someone into an atheist faster than a Catholic school.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking beautiful. Yeah, I actually worked at a Catholic school for a while, dude. It's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just as like my friend's mom ran the daycare department, like the after-school daycare.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So I just did that, which is probably the best. Unfortunately, it was minimum wage, obviously, but fucking really fun job, just fucking hanging around with kids, playing the games with them. Because I would actually just play the games with them, dude. Like, oh, we're playing basketball, I'll play. Playing baseball, I'll play. Yeah.
Well, like it's one of those things, like the thing that kind of like the feminization of a lot of the school system, where like they don't have as much of that active part of school anymore.
Yeah.
Like sitting in the class and fucking paying attention and sitting quietly, and a lot less of the like, and now we're going to go outside and you guys are going to run around for 20 minutes and fucking
it's geared towards, and it really is, dude. It's again, I hate to keep sounding the conspiratorial, but it really is geared towards what females are generally better at, dude.
Yeah, especially early.
Like males are, especially at that age, are not geared towards sitting still and fucking listening, dude. Like they've got they're rambunctious, dude.
Well, the thing is, you got to let them go wear themselves out, and then you take that opportunity once they've gone out and gotten all that energy out. Then you take the opportunity to kind of fill their heads with some stuff.
Yeah. My son, for the longest time, like I think he's barely kind of breaking out of it now, but like he was constantly getting in trouble for talking with his friends, dude. And like that's what dudes do, man. They fucking bullshit around and they fucking joke around when they're supposed to be fucking paying attention. And dude, they don't have some kind of outlet to, get up that pent up aggression. They're gonna have trouble focusing. And girls generally don't. So it really is set up in their favor.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's like, I'd love to see some reform of the educational system. I don't know, Brown, watch out.
Yeesh.
Yeah, he's somebody I've known for a while. We do a lot of video gaming together.
Right on.
Yeah. I should point that out, since,
Yeah, I think I followed him. I think I went through whoever you were following, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to give everybody a shot here.
Oh, beware. Some of those people I followed, everyone's all followed by accident, thinking that it's going to be like funny posts. And then they'll just start posting like really annoying shit over retweeting bad stuff.
All right, are you picking up that?
I'm definitely a smart dog, yeah.
Christ, dude. The guy's here to fix the AC, and the dogs are fucking lunatics. I'll try to mute as much as I can.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
That dog's a fucking lunatic.
We used to have a dog that was a little dachshund, and fucking no shit, it would bark at you out the door and then came back in. Even if like one of the people that
Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go see if I can't shut this fucking dog up. They're out there, but they're not doing anything well. So I'll be right back, man.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, fucking, it was the best ever. Like this little dog would just be like, "What? You live in the house? I've seen you for like the last 10 years. Fuck that!" Just start going off every time you walk in the house and walk out and in. And then half the time when people were strangers, like they could get in the house and then it would start barking like 5-10 minutes later. And we kind of figured after a while that it was probably like partially blind, and so it just didn't like fucking see too great. Of course, again, that was our dachshund that ended up with like paralyzed from the fucking middle of the back down, and that's just always fun to watch. Like one day you come out and you're like, oh, the dog's dragging its back end around. That's probably not healthy. And then for anybody who doesn't know, when you have a dog like that, they give you a little fucking set of wheels with little leg slots. So you put the back legs of the dog in it, and it can just wheel around and shit. Like use its front legs to wheel around. It's pretty fucking cool, actually.
All right, whatever you're talking about, I'm sorry I missed it.
I was just talking about the dogs we used to have. We have a dog now that doesn't bark at all, really. Like it'll just bark once in a while unless it's outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, these ones are okay. They're just not used to. They've hardly ever been inside, and a stranger's inside, and they get AC guys here to fix the AC.
Oh yeah.
And it's really just one of them, and I've never seen a dog with OCD before this one, but that bitch is fucking, like, she's fucking awesome, dude. Any other time, but like certain things set her off. Like she has an obsession with any kind of fucking like sports ball, like a soccer ball or anything like that. Like it's really creepy how fucking like you can almost see it in her fucking eyes. How it changes, and she's just on that. It's almost like nothing else exists in the world except that fucking ball. And she'll fucking go after it and go after it. They have the fucking choke chain on her, and she's almost choking herself to death, and she still won't fucking stop, dude. It's fucking insane. All right, I tried to hang up a thick blanket and like slam the door, so I don't know if that's gonna work. Yeah, but we'll see.
It happens.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm really glad because I had been doing it in the living room, and I noticed last week. I'm sure that you must have heard the fucking door open and closing a bunch of times and people coming through. So I was like, why the fuck am I doing it? Like that's fine for the Sunday night one, but like there's too many people here coming in and out for me to fucking do it. So now I'm doing it in my room. Oh, it would have been way fucking worse if I had done that this time.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, it's the perils of live fucking broadcasting.
Live streaming. Yeah, I'm really trying to fucking seal everything up.
It's not super loud anymore, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
All right, yeah, I've kind of, like I said, I hung the one over the door and kind of slammed it in there. Now I'm kind of cramming something at the bottom because they're still barking. So if you're not hearing it, well, there they go. You probably heard that. But yeah, it's definitely not as loud.
I wouldn't. Yeah, you're probably all right now.
I'm glad that fucking worked.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Recently, I heard apparently. What's his name? Captain Kirk. William Shatner. Apparently, he's been getting into it with the fucking SJW
Picard
on Twitter.
And Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh, has he been too?
Yeah, well, there was a picture. I saw something on the Twitter feed where it was Picard was holding up a thing like saying protect the rights for our women and girls, and then fucking he said something like, yeah, well, the fucking SJWs are just fucking lunatics with it, or I'm definitely paraphrasing and not well, but basically something along those lines.
That's kind of fucking awesome.
Actually, I'm gonna look up William Shatner here.
2 Star Trek captains going at it on Twitter. That's fucking, that's fucking.
Yeah. Oh man, where the fuck is the search thing? Not used to using the. All right. Let me see if I can find out what it was. Come on, fuckers.
Oh wow, William Shatner slams SJW. Says snowflakes stand for inequality and misandry. He's gone full on fucking like MRA almost. It sounds like, and he's Canadian.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found some of the tweets. This should be kind of fun. Share the screen.
Oh man.
SJWs can have political views, but it's usually where they need to be superior in socioeconomic terms. And this is your failure of logic. SJWs stand for inequality, where they are superior to anyone else, hence my use of misandry and snowflake. It sounds like he's just being totally like, no, this is like, yeah, that's the way it is.
Yeah,
all that is true. I also use words like snowflake and misandry. What's your point, sunshine?
I'm doing a little trolling, dude. Oh, I'm not following him, but I'm about to. Yes, follow. Although I gotta admit, I prefer Jean-Luc Picard as far as Star Trek captains.
Well, there's certain people I follow on Twitter just because they're entertaining, and I don't really have any interest in their stuff. Like Randy Quaid and his wife are fucking out of their minds.
Yeah, I bet. Well, Randy Quaid's like a conspiracy theory guy, right?
Yeah, like he fucking like for a while he was kind of going off the deep end, but then at some point he went out and just was like went on a meth bender with his new wife, and they just went into like a meth bender and fucking just got way the fuck out there for a while, and now they're just still kind of just a little fucking crazy about like conspiracy theory shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's glorious though. Yeah. One day he tweeted like him doing a reading of the road less traveled by.
Like, by Frost.
Yeah, by Frost, exactly. And he just fucking it was just him with his crazy like fucking militia style beard, like and looking down into the camera and doing the road less traveled by, and then that was it. There was no explanation.
Wow. Just that.
Just him doing the reading of that, like this dramatic reading of the road less traveled by, and that was all posted that day on Twitter.
Wow, nice.
I was like, I gotta follow him. This guy's sometimes he'll just be like looking at the clouds and shit, and just take a video of the clouds and just ramble about. I don't even know what he's talking about. I'm not sure he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, I think that's the best. Like, I've always wanted to do shit that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, I wanted to. Are you familiar with Bukowski?
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at one point, somebody had asked him about the form of like poetry and shit, and he basically ends up putting out this tiny little book where basically all it says is, as the spirit wanes, the form appears, which is basically saying like when you're losing the fucking desire and the fucking the spirit or whatever, then you start worrying about fucking form instead of just writing, Yeah, I think I sent you the version of that where I just changed format for form. Yeah, I think I sent that to you at one point when you're asking about formats. I think I changed that. But basically what I always wanted to do is do a video where reading that, but in between every single word placing an ad. Like as, and then an ad, and then another ad, and then pretending like it means something, and it's just nonsense, right? But I thought it would be funny to do that and then have people, well, again, probably nobody would see it, but if they did, like wondering, what does that mean? Like, yeah, fucker, it doesn't mean anything. Fuck you.
Sort of like the guy who put his own glasses down on the floor of a modern art museum and then just stood looking at them. Like a huge crowd of people like taking pictures and discussing it.
Yes, dude. Yes, that's fucking perfect, dude.
I've been so one of the things I had to take in when I was at the JC, because I was still prepping for like going into psychology and like a real college, and so I was finishing out my gen ed, and one of them was you had to take like an art appreciation class.
Oh yeah.
And so we went to like a classical museum where they have some of the Middle Ages and the like the illumination, like the paintings you think about when you think about paintings,
right?
Ancient paintings. And then we went to we also at some point went to like a modern art museum, and the modern art museum was such horse shit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, do you just have to act crazy and be convincing to like act edgy or whatever, and then they're like, oh, you're a real artist, so whatever you make must be fucking too deep and we just can't understand it.
One of them was a whole room, and it was just some fucking like bed sheets fucking hung by wires so that they didn't fall. And then there's just a fan that, like a rotating fan, one of those oscillating ones that just goes back and forth, aimed at the sheets. And that was it. That was the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, that's not like there's no
it's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, especially when you look at the shit that happened like during the fucking Renaissance, or the shit that was so like almost photorealistic back in the day, and how fucking amazing those fucking artists are. And now you can do fucking just lines with different colored boxes in there and fucking make millions of dollars, dude.
Some aspects of modern art I kind of get. Like the guy who painted the soup cans.
Like that, Andy Warhol? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a political commentary as much as it is like a painting. And it clearly he put a lot of work into it, and there was some real artistic, qualities to it. Like that kind of stuff I kind of understand, where you're mocking the institution of art. I can see that. But when you're just like taking a shit on a piece of fucking paper and then smearing it like mixing in paint and then smearing it around.
Yeah.
Like rolling around on a campus covered with your own feces and your own paint. That's not really art. You're fucking lunatic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's amazing. Like, just call yourself an artist, and you can get away with being schizophrenic or fucking whatever. Oh, that reminds me. If you ever bored one time, Google schizophrenic art, dude. Holy shit, those fuckers are good. That's why I'm saying, dude, like you kind of have to be crazy to be an artist. Like, there's probably something wrong with you if you're a really good artist. Yeah, but like if you ever just Google's the phrase or the term schizophrenic art. Because they'd have, people in the mental institutions, draw or do art or whatever. And it was always, I was like, what is the difference between that and fucking the shit I see in museums? Like, I think it's better than the bullshit that modern fucking art is coming up with a lot of times.
One of the things that I learned and that's interesting to me about working in mental health is how interesting the people are. Like, you go and you meet some random person in like a grocery store or like out in a park or fucking at a movie theater. They're going to have the same kind of basic bullshit to talk about. But when you talk to somebody with like severe mental illness, like they're willing to go fucking deep. They're fascinating life story. They're definitely willing to tell funny stories and like crazy shit that they've done and have happened to them. They're more than willing to just be like hang out with whoever. If some crisis comes up, like they're cool.
They
got it. No worries.
Yeah. Well, it's the kind of it's kind of the same with like alcoholics and drug addicts. My experience. Yeah. Like independent of, sharing the illness with them, I've noticed like if I had the choice between hanging out with a bunch of drug addicts in recovery, not still using, but drug addicts in recovery or a room of fucking normies, I guarantee you the fucking room of drug addicts is going to be a lot more interesting people, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. People who've been through some shit. Are much more entertaining and much more interesting to hang out with. Yeah. Than people who've never fucking had to like so much to change a flat tire on the side of the road.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I kind of see like I fucking could easily have been dead many times over, but somehow I fucking made it through. And well, I don't know how interesting I am, but fucking there's a lot of fucking people that are like that. That's why I asked you, like, and I've never gotten around to it, which I kind of expected, but I was going to have, some of the people that I've met over the years that I find are way more fucking interesting than like a vast majority of celebrities. And they're just dudes working at the fucking phone store or fucking, wherever. That they're fucking really interesting people, dude. Yeah, I really got to get around because I'm terrible about keeping in contact with people. But
Get someone on the fucking on the show.
yeah, have them come on because and I'm sure you got the same. I'm sure you know a lot of people that you've met that aren't necessarily. Well, whatever. You've met a lot of interesting people, that aren't famous or known for anything.
I'm in mode for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was it?
I do this weird thing where I go through like hermit mode where I just don't fucking hang out with anybody.
Yes, dude. Yeah, that's what I've been doing for probably the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so I'm not really in touch with a lot of people that I used to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could probably try to find some of them.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is I'm like that, but luckily, like my friends, whatever, they like me enough that even though I do that, like when I do get in contact with them, they're still okay with fucking, talking to me.
Yeah, I was thinking like one guy I know did the whole crazy college thing. Like he went to college and within a month was suddenly like a transgender lesbian.
Yeah,
still with his girlfriend. Like he's still banging his girlfriend.
Wow.
His women's clothes, and now he's super activist now.
And his name was Riley Dennis.
No, not Riley Dennis.
I'm just kidding, dude. Like, it fit the description, so I had to fucking say
Riley Dennis can't pass. This dude could pass.
Right. Yeah.
This guy could definitely pass this lady if he wanted to, but he barely does it. But then he started going really super left wing, and this is way before the big crisis that everybody's talking about now.
Oh, right. Way before it was trendy.
Channel even started. So I mean, like before people were really aware of like how bad it was getting.
Right.
Mainstream. So I had no idea, and I went over to his house for like a party. I went to go visit him because he went to school, and I'm like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a while because you've been out of town." Yeah, I'll drive down. It's no big deal. And drove down to Berkeley to go hang out with the guy, and me and my friend had like found out like, oh yeah, he's transgender now, and we're like, yeah, who fucking cares? It's California. Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
So you're not special in California. Don't fucking care. And so we were.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Yeah, you ever get that where they're disappointed that you're not like freaked out, like you're just okay with it, and they're almost like
that's exactly where this story is going.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. God damn it!
It's funny.
I just stepped all over your fucking.
No, it's funny because it was a whole room full of people that were essentially like, so me and my friend Julie, who's a lot more right-wing like me, a lot more conservative.
Right.
Still like doesn't give a shit about, essentially like sort of the new right, like doesn't give a shit about anything to do with gay marriage or any of that stuff. But
right. Yeah, the identity politics.
Sanity.
Don't give a shit.
Stuff. Business, small businesses are what we want.
Right.
So we went down there and they were asking, and he was asking like, or she was asking or whatever. She was like, hey, what do you think about this and that and the other thing? And, basically questioning me about like the transgender and what my opinions about that are. And everybody's looking at me because I'm the white guy in the room.
All right. The straight cishet male.
And I was just like, who fucking cares? And they're like, what do you mean who cares? It's really important. I'm like, no, it's not, man. Like, the person I like is who you are.
Right.
The stuff you talk about, the stuff you do, the kind of moral base that you have, the way you treat other people.
You're a fucking bigot, Stabby.
The rest of that shit.
You sound like a bigot to me, Stabby.
Yeah, and I was just explaining to a bunch of these colleges. I'm like, who fucking cares about the rest of it? You know, like what you look like, and if you're a guy or a girl, or whatever. That has nothing to do with who you are. And it would be weird and creepy to base everything about you on like your value on what you are.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. It's like they've taken the things that should be the least important about you and made things the most important. It's almost like a shortcut. Like I don't want to bother to take the time to develop a personality to be interesting. So I'm just going to do claim this, and that's going to make me interesting.
Well, and this was long enough ago that my explanation was enough that they were like, "Oh, okay, that's fine then." So like, it was like,
like nowadays they would probably call you a fucking bigot, dude.
I would have been chased out of the
party. Just said, who cares? Yeah,
they might have tried to hang me for
which is fucking ridiculous.
Out in Berkeley Public Square, wherever it was.
No shit.
I just thought that was lunatics. I had a little brush with that before I ever really heard about the stuff now. And before it really was mainstream.
No, it was
common knowledge.
It was definitely weird. Like when I was a teenager, up until probably teenage years, because I didn't have any experience with that. But once I found out about it, I was like, "Fuck." So what, dude? Like, it's fucking. I get it. That's who you are. That's part of who you are, or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't think that really freaks anybody out anymore. At least it shouldn't. Yeah, I'm trying to. I really kind of wonder, like, by age, it's got to be basically the anybody under the age of like maybe 45 doesn't give a shit, dude. Maybe even 50, and then the ones that are older than that are probably still freaked out about that shit. But yeah, I don't think many people really fucking care. Other than the millennials that fucking base their whole fucking self-worth on whether they're gay or straight or trans or fucking what
yeah, it would be nice if people
nationality they are,
just making themselves a better person.
Yeah,
real.
Yeah. That doesn't matter at all, really. That should be the most important thing, is how you treat other people, and it doesn't matter at all, really.
Yeah, it's getting all of the power and prestige without doing any of the work.
Yeah.
It's much easier to just turn on the fucking anger and spout off a couple of pat phrases, like sexist,
Nazi,
whatever it is,
Nazi
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Nazi now. Well, pretty soon everybody's white supremacists too. I mean, after Charlottesville, white supremacy is everyone's a white supremacist. You don't.
Yeah. If you listen to Tariq Nasheed, you don't even have to be white, dude.
Yeah.
To be a white supremacist. Yeah.
Well, there was that Asian kid.
Were you serious? You never heard? You know who I'm talking about? Tariq Nasheed?
I've heard his name many times. I don't.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's called like Derek Blackman, like some black guy.
Yeah.
Or Bunty King, like he's called them white supremacists.
Oh, really? That's fucking funny.
Yeah. Like not even just Uncle Tom or that kind of shit. Literally calling them black white supremacists. Dude.
Like Bunty King is pretty lefty. I mean, he's pretty left wing for. He just doesn't buy into the hate.
Yeah, and the identity shit. He's not really the identity politics. He doesn't care about as much either.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like politics, he's definitely super left wing. Like,
yeah, he is for sure. Yeah,
nice guy though. Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I like to fuck with him every now and then on Twitter.
Oh, really? Yeah, I respond sometimes. I still haven't started. I don't know why I can't bring myself to start fucking trolling people. I want to. Maybe I'll create a separate account just for trolling people.
Oh yeah, there you go. I just like to mess with people a little bit on when they use really silly logic. Like if you use just a really obvious faulty premise to make a conclusion from, I'm definitely going to call it out just because it's funny.
Yeah. Although there's some people that even if you're being fucking logical, man, they can come back with a fucking statement that's trolling, but it's something that kind of undercuts your argument. Like, so you're saying this, and it kind of makes sense, even though it doesn't. Yeah, like and I'd have to fucking go in and tell people, like, guys, stop fucking responding to this guy like he's real, like he's fucking trolling you. Stop it. But some people are really good at it. It's fucking funny, dude. I kind of have a begrudging respect for them, dude, because they're really good at pissing people off, even when people are having legitimate, logical fucking responses and arguments, dude. I wish I had a fucking example of what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, you can't win every argument, though. I mean, sooner or later, somebody.
No, but I'm talking about people that are deliberately trolling, but the things they're saying, they're like, oh, so it's because of this. Okay, gotcha. And it'll be something that basically takes whatever the person had said that makes perfect fucking sense and is totally logical and makes it kind of fucking sound kind of iffy, dude. Like, I think that's a talent. It's unfortunate.
You're talking about sophistry.
That it goes. Is that the word? Yeah, I guess so.
You sort of use circular logic, and you use a lot of fancy vocabulary that's like super hard to get, and you sort of
well, no, not even
everything
that. They just kind of
twist
twist
enough that it looks like
shit.
what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, well, no, they just kind of twist what you said
Yeah.
to make it seem like something different. Yeah.
I think
Like,
that's,
so
I think
you
that's
do this, and it wasn't what they're saying at all. But you can see how somebody could possibly come to that conclusion. You know, like, oh, so you meant this when you said this, and then like, oh, somebody could actually kind of think that, you know, possibly.
Yeah, sophistry is the use of fallacious arguments, especially with the intention of deceiving.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, that's a good word. Who uses that a lot? I'm thinking Milo Yiannopoulos uses that a lot. Sargon.
Yeah, does too.
Yeah, but it's like I kind of feel bad because I'm like, what a horrible thing to be great at, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I can fuck with people's heads a lot. I mean, if you talk enough, sooner or later, people just give up too. So I've done that.
Yeah, I definitely do because there's definitely times when I'm like, you have to be fucking trolling me. This person has to be trolling me. I'm like, either you're a troll or this is pointless. I'm out. You know, and then they still try to keep going. You're a hateful bigot because you pointed out that the fucking electoral college has been in place for 200 years. Like, oh, okay, all right. I guess I am. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of impressive, dude. That people that can do that really well. They kind of twist that. Yeah, but the people that don't realize it, like, it's okay if like first one or two, like the first statement they make and then maybe the reply, but after that, if you're still not realizing that they're just fucking with you, it's almost like, what's wrong with you? How do you not realize this dude's just doing this to fuck with you?
Ben Shapiro's really good at that.
Mm-hmm.
The aspect of being able to take people's words and twist them until it makes sense, even though they're still wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's really, really good at that, and so is Steven Crowder.
Yeah.
Like, not that they never have valid points. They do. A lot of times they have valid points, but they're also extremely skilled at taking somebody's argument and tweaking it and twisting it to the point where they make it look wrong.
Yeah, and I think Crowder more or less just uses like a lot of high energy. What? And kind of fucking makes it seem ridiculous, even if it's really not. Like the way he talks is like, that's so ridiculous. Not saying that exactly, but yeah. And yeah, Ben Shapiro is somebody I wouldn't debate about anything, dude. I would not debate that guy about anything. I think Matt, who is it, Matt? What?
I said, even if I knew for a fact, beyond the shadow of a doubt, like I'm arguing with my argument is that the sky is blue and he's saying it's green. I'm still not going to argue.
Yeah, I think it was Matt Christensen who was like, dude, I wouldn't argue gravity with that guy.
Yeah. And there'd be no point. Yeah. He's really fucking good at debating, and he's really, really good at sophistry.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I've noticed that he does a lot is, what do you call it? False dichotomies. He's extremely skilled at false dichotomies.
Although I think he believes his own I think he believes his bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think he's intending to deceive people. I think he just does by chance of that he's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're either this or you're that. There's no in between. It's like, no, there's always an in between.
Yeah, he's not big on gray areas. Yeah. It's surprising the guy that wears a yarmulke 24/7 is black and white.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, although it can be really fucking funny, dude. He took down. Did you see the debate with Cenk Uygur?
No, but I would imagine if Cenk Uygur went against Ben Shapiro, it was a fucking shit show on the same side.
Yeah, that's what Cenk always. Basically, they both did what they always do, but Ben fucking really, in my opinion, fucking destroyed him. Dude. Yeah. But there's a part about where,
like you guys said, you could be arguing fucking gravity and Ben's going to destroy you. He's just that good.
Yeah, he's so quick fucking, it's amazing, dude. It's really impressive. Although, again, he's right on a lot of shit, too. You know, but he's also really moralizing and there's some stuff that bugs me about him, but
Steven Crowder's got a lot of
his heart, I can say this. Yeah, I would say Shapiro's heart's definitely in the right place, dude. but he's just too goddamn fucking too moralizing, too kind of judgmental, I guess I would say.
Yeah, it's
although not in the way
flaws Steven Crowder has. Steven Crowder is a lot of the same thing. There's a lot of stuff he talks about that are basically moral arguments that just aren't very accurate.
Yeah, I followed him for a while, and honestly, I think he's really good unless it has something to do with religion.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, a lot of what he does is religion. Like his debate with. Did you ever see him when he debated Michael? God damn, what the fuck is his name? The one from the groups, the comedy group Stella. He was in the Wet Hot American Summer. Michael Ian Black.
Oh, did he debate Michael Ian Black?
Yeah, about the rape culture thing. This was a while ago. Yeah, and Michael Ian Black is he's a fucking idiot, dude. God damn.
Michael Ian Black is very, very funny, and I enjoy watching him do movies and do comedy.
Yeah, but him, just like you'd expect with most comedians, him talking about politics or anything, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, even Joe Rogan now is starting to come on to like getting into like some weird territory that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't watch as much.
Really middle of the road, but now he's starting to go lefter and lefter. It's a little disturbing.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed. Well, I haven't watched much of his shit lately. Like I'm subscribed, but I hardly ever end up actually watching his podcasts.
Well,
shit, that sucks, dude. He was one of the few.
He's still fun to watch, man. Like even if he's left wing, he's still. I mean, it's very little. Like they don't get into politics that much on his show anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff. And I can't imagine he's ever going to go in for the fucking identity politics bullshit, dude.
No, that's
or is that.
But like he was talking about the whole thing in Virginia and being like, no, it's just a bunch of white supremacists, and a bunch of Nazis and KKK people, and it's like,
oh wow,
you're clearly not taking the time to really know what's going on. You probably shouldn't be talking about that.
Yeah, that's the thing is he's got a lot of fucking, he has a lot of interest, dude. And I think he just doesn't have the time to do it. And you're right, he shouldn't be talking about it.
He's kind of got a hate on for Trump, too. And I think that kind of blinds him a lot of times to, like, occasionally Trump says stuff that's right.
Yeah. That's the thing is I never understood people who honestly believe that their side has never done anything wrong and the other side has never done anything right. That fucking makes no sense to me. That's impossible, dude. But
I don't like Trump's stance on the internet. I don't think he really understands and is going to enforce as much of the net neutrality as I'd really like. I think he doesn't get how important that is.
Yeah, that is scary. That is scary. But dude, we've already
put in the charge of the education system. I don't agree with that at all. I think that was a terrible choice.
Although that is one of the reasons. One of the reasons I get fucking, I haven't unsubscribed because some of them are hilarious, but one of the net neutrality is it's one of the few things that I actually sign the petition for. Like, I support a bunch of shit and then I forget to sign the whatever petitions I have, but I actually signed the online petition for the net neutrality because I know fucking that's so goddamn important. And I get, dude, some of the shit that they fucking send is ridiculous. It's so far left, dude. Just fucking, I can't unsubscribe like I should.
Yeah.
Getting their emails is so goddamn entertaining that I can't stop, dude.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I've signed a couple petitions on one of those sites, and a lot of the stuff I get is just like so ridiculous.
It's fucking hilarious, right?
I stopped reading them after a while.
Yeah, I just read the headline. I just read the subject, dude.
Oh yeah, in that case, that part's pretty funny. I get so many emails on the same part because like the way it breaks up, that goes in with my social for some reason. So it'll be like 100 Twitter emails of people that like fucking liked or retweeted something that I retweeted, which some of those get real big, very rarely, but some of those can get really a lot of numbers. Even though I think people are not getting that I just am pointing stuff out. Like I don't always agree with what I'm retweeting. It's not. I'm not retweeting something that I 100% agree with it or 100% disagree with it. I'm
just find it
thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, interesting, entertaining, yeah.
Or worth looking at and thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Although the other day I did beat you to the mentioning mustard to Omegon, dude, when he was complaining about getting donuts instead of a fucking bacon cheeseburger.
Oh yeah, you did that too. I think we both did.
Yeah, well, I posed the question to him of like, okay, so here's which one's worse, getting the 2 donuts or getting the bacon cheeseburger, but it's slathered in mustard? And he replies back, he's like, tough choice.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, he hates mustard. If anybody listening doesn't know who Omegon is, and you probably don't or might not, yeah,
he's allergic to it.
Yeah, he definitely fucking refuses to have anything to do with mustard. Yeah, he must be, dude. I don't know. How you hate.
I said it's too bad those donuts aren't slathered with a nice, healthy, a nice helping of mustard as they should be, or something like that.
Yeah, mentioning the mustard. Always got to work that in with that guy.
Gotta be.
He's pretty good about responding, dude. I like. Well, he's not really that huge either, but he's really good about actually responding to, whether it's Twitter or whether it's comments on the YouTube videos. He'll respond if you say something halfway interesting, dude.
Huh. I will not troll Omega. I will not troll Omega.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. Yeah. Do you watch his video? I assume you watch his videos occasionally, right? Or not really?
No, I don't watch his videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's all right. I don't follow him as closely as some anymore, but he definitely made the cut as far as when I pared down my, people I was following on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's a call that has to happen every so often.
Yeah. When I'm missing my text messages on my phones because I have so many goddamn notifications, you're like, okay, I think I'm well overdue for cutting this down a little. Like, hey, I texted you. I'm like, that's just one notification of many. I can't I can't see that shit. It looks exactly like my Twitter notification. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and there's so much on YouTube that and eventually you're going to lose interest in all of it anyway. Like whatever you're watching now, sooner or later you're going to just not want to watch.
Yeah. Even as obsessive as I get, and I'm almost always obsessing about something, dude. Yeah, and it's still I eventually get burned out on it.
Yeah.
I think of how much time I spent fucking researching shit on the Cosby rape shit. God damn, dude. And way back before it really blew up, like way before it really went public, like shortly after Hannibal Buress did his little bit that kind of leaked out a little, like before it really blew up, man, I was so obsessed with that shit. Yeah, I was like, holy shit. I was like, Bill Cosby's been fucking drugging and raping people for like 40 years.
Yeah, that's insane. Did he get committed? Did he get convicted?
I don't know if he had actually got convicted. I don't know what the fuck is happening with that. Yeah, see, I lose interest, dude. And just like it doesn't really matter at this point. Like he's old, and like if he goes to jail, so what? I don't think he's
so what?
doing it.
He ruins the end of his life because he can ruin so many other lives.
Yeah. Well, no, it's kind of ruined. It's kind of ruined either way, though, is what I mean. Like his reputation is shattered, dude.
Yeah, but he's still living in fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, still. Yeah, this is true.
There's not a punishment if all you have to do is withdraw from fucking, the community for like the next 10 years until you die. You get to go live in fucking your poolside mansion.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's definitely something. It's better than nothing, I guess I should say. Like, if he doesn't get convicted or whatever, it is at least some kind of fucking punishment for him. But yeah, you're right. It definitely would be way worse or way better to have him actually fucking be convicted and go to jail.
So the case ended in a mistrial after the jury deadlocks.
Well, I think that anytime you have any African Americans on the jury, they're not going to convict him, dude.
So it's going to retry it again. It's going to retry it again, though. They're going to go in and do another case. So that's not the end. It wasn't.
That's going to keep happening until he dies, dude. Honestly, I think that's going to keep happening until he dies, dude.
Yeah. I want them to convict him and put him in jail for at least 5 to 10.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and honestly, for the volume, you could almost see him getting a life sentence for how the sheer volume of fucking
they're not
women that
trying
he
him
did
for
it
all of
to.
it. They're not trying him for all of it. They can't.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, yeah.
There's so many of the cases that are way past being private.
Oh, the statute.
He's on trial for one case in 2004, and part of the problem is they can't legally because none of the other cases can be proven. They can't bring any of his past in and be like, well, here's the other 39 fucking women he raped over the last 20 years.
Right.
They
can't put that as evidence. Yeah.
So it's just going to have to be on its own merit. So the case's jury is deadlocked. That doesn't mean that it's going to win or lose the next one. It's not really an indicator.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's going to keep being a hung jury.
It's going to be tough to find a jury that will actually convict because it's Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's going to be virtually, impossible to find a jury that isn't somewhat aware of the particulars of the case anyway.
Right.
So, I mean...
Yeah, it was kind of like the OJ trial. The OJ trial had the same thing, or Michael Jackson. Like, how do you find a fucking impartial jury? Like, it's essentially impossible, dude.
Well, and it looks like they're reopening, the FBI is looking into the Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton meeting.
Oh, wow.
In that case. So that might be some fucking interesting stuff going on.
Yeah. No, I'd really want to see fucking Bill and Hillary get taken down. Just the fucking horrible shit they've done over the years, dude.
I mean, Bill Clinton meets with the fucking Attorney General of the United States and then for an hour, and then all the charges against his wife are dropped. And everybody's like, stay with it.
Yeah.
She's destroyed thousands and thousands of emails and a few computers, some phones, and SIM chips,
right.
a bunch of stuff that she was subpoenaed in order to produce for the FBI. She just destroyed.
Yeah,
which is a felony, and it's not a felony of intention. So here's the thing: there are two types of crimes when you're looking at the United States justice system. There's crimes of intent and crimes of result. So some crimes, it matters what your intention was. So it would determine if it's like murder or manslaughter. If you intended to kill somebody, it's murder. If somebody died but you didn't intend to do it, it's manslaughter. You're still guilty of a crime.
Yeah. Like if it was your negligence that caused it, but you didn't do it on purpose or planned it. Yeah.
Just because you had no intent doesn't mean that the crime wasn't committed.
Right.
And so for the stuff that they were accusing Hillary of, intention has nothing to do with it. Whether you intended to violate the law, it didn't matter. It has no bearing whatsoever on whether or not you committed that crime and whether you're guilty and whether you need to be punished.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing that
you did it is all that matters. And so that and the obstruction of justice case, like both of those together should be tried. Like they really need to put her in jail for one or the other because they're both felonies, and she admitted to both of them.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the one which is like, what difference does it make? Or was that about Benghazi? I can't remember.
Probably both.
Yeah, but no, she's really one of something horrible thing that she'd done is one of them, and then she's like, "What difference at this point does it make?" Like, dude, how do you have that fucking attitude about breaking the goddamn law, dude?
Yeah, right now it looks like there's one set of justice for, one set of laws for us little fucking people that don't matter, and a different set of laws for you and your rich friends.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's always kind of been that way, but this is so obvious, dude.
Yeah,
it's so obvious that the law was broken. And
if it was Trump that did it, I'd be all about him going too. It's like I don't want to play that game.
Yeah.
The case he had, the one that was a valid case, was some fraud cases regarding his college. And he paid off the people so that they were satisfied and let it drop.
Right.
And then we're done. The injured party is they got what they wanted out of it and they're done.
Although I'm kind of curious if I had heard that when he was having people like constructions companies come in, he would end up lowballing them when he'd say he was going to pay him this much, and then he's like, no, I'm only paying you this much now, and if you don't like it, sue me. You're going to end up spending more money than suing me than what I'm paying you. Like I heard he used to do shit like that.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure he's not 100% clean, man.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
bring a case
But between that and
I win.
Yeah.
Take the money.
Yeah.
I don't
think he's had anybody killed, and I don't believe that about the Clintons.
Hillary, yeah, Seth Richards was definitely murdered.
Yeah, yeah, or Vince Foster. You remember Vince Foster back in the day?
There's like a fucking list, man. Like
no, I've seen it. I remember I denied it for the longest time, and then finally I was like, holy shit, there really is a Clinton body count, dude.
There's fucking people that killed themselves by shooting themselves in the head twice.
Yeah,
they were suicide. Like, how the fuck you shoot yourself twice?
Yeah, what the fuck was that movie, dude? Where they're like, he accidentally. Oh yeah, no, my husband. He ended up killing himself. He accidentally shot himself in the back with a harpoon.
Yeah,
I can't remember what movie that is. God damn it!
But it's it's exactly the kind of shit that goes on at the Clinton body count. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and some of them it seemed like the only thing they did was they happened to see Bill smoking pot. Like it was fucking that kind of petty shit, and they fucking murdered people over it, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like Bill Clinton looks like he sleeps in a fucking food dehydrator at this point.
Yeah, he does look a little sickly.
Jerky over time.
Right. Yeah, he's all red and skinny. It looks like he has some. Yeah, he's wasting away from some kind of VD, dude.
Yeah, we just fucking
like the hepatitis and herpes and the whatever else is just finally catching
so many women that all that cum is just gone. Like everybody else at that age is just not getting any, but he's just like he's still raping.
Right. Although I wonder, do you think he was fucking a pedophile too? I'm kind of curious about that.
I don't buy the Pizzagate. I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, well, not necessarily Pizzagate. Well, I guess that was kind of tied to Pizzagate, but like that alleged island where they'd fly to and fuck kids.
Oh, I don't think that's very likely. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, because he definitely seems to have a normal, healthy appetite for sex, like with regular, like adult women. I don't know if you can be that into fucking regular adult women and also be that into fucking kids. I kind of doubt that on him, dude.
That seems like an Alex Jones thing to me. Like there's certain things where it's like, yeah, no, that seems entirely plausible. I don't know.
I could see Hillary maybe be doing it, but not. I don't think Bill. No, even Hillary's kind of iffy.
It's not even about that. I don't think you could have an island and the amount of people it would take to keep an island like that.
Oh, right.
Have somebody have talked by now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you would have to have like robot servants and fucking
completely automated. Or the police would be there and have gone out there already and taken it over.
Yeah. Although again, I honestly think that shit does really go down like in Hollywood, dude.
Well, I'm sure that people are molested and raped, but I don't think that there are sex dungeons for kids.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got what you're saying, dude.
Yeah, I'm not at all saying that there's not a chance that maybe this guy occasionally on his island will have like minors there for the
like fucking sex parties. Yeah, minor sex parties. Yeah.
Bringing like 14-year-old whores from whatever nearby province or local, country or whatever.
Wherever they can.
That I absolutely can believe. Yeah. But the kind of stuff I'm talking about, like that's so unhuman that it would take. I mean, how much money do you have? I mean, you could offer me $1 billion, and for me not to fucking narc you out for your little kid sex dungeon, I'm not going to take $1 billion. There's no way.
Yeah, how are you going to let some kids, probably a lot of fucking kids, continue to suffer just so you can get fucking paid, dude?
Yeah, I might not talk about some dude you killed, like some dude you had a beef with that fucked you over someday and you killed him in response.
Right.
I might shut that up. I might keep quiet about that for like a one-time payment of like $500,000.
But yeah,
kids, man, that's a whole other
kids suffer.
I'm not shutting my mouth for that. You ain't got enough money.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would be in the same. I think there's not a lot of people who'd be like, well, if you pay me enough.
Oh, I think honestly, there's a bunch of people that would take the money and be hushed up, even though kids are suffering, dude.
No, I don't think there is. Yeah. I don't think you'd have to pay a lot of money. I don't think he has that kind of money.
I honestly, I think you have a more faith in humanity
than I do. Well, I know you do.
I could absolutely be wrong. It's true. I will have to admit that. That's only my opinion. I could
my point there is you definitely have more faith in humanity than I do, because I think most people would easily take the hush money.
I don't know that I would necessarily go to the police as much as just find like the nearest gun and just start killing everybody on that island first.
Right. But I honestly
the cops showed up, the kids would be the only ones left alive if I was there. I mean,
right. I'm like, go ahead and arrest me. I will spend the rest of my time in prison with a smile on my face because I did a great thing here.
You know, I've seen as others more of them than it would be of me. They might take me out first, or probably would. But
yeah, either way, some of them are getting clipped, dude. Or just shoot their cocks off, dude. That'd be interesting.
Fucking like that RoboCop bit.
Yeah, it shoots through the legs and blows the dude's cock out, dude.
You seen the video where he does that, and they're just like more rapists keep popping out?
No.
There's a great little YouTube video. Look it up, like RoboCop shooting dicks or something like that.
I have to check that out, dude.
It's like it starts off with that scene, and then like more rapists show up, and he shoots their dicks off, and it just keeps more and more rapists keep showing up, and so he's just shooting dicks like crazy fucking action sequence. It's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I have to see that, dude. That sounds fucking hilarious.
It's definitely worth it. That is a fucking YouTube video.
Oh man, that's great. But yeah, honestly, I think a majority. I think more people would take the money and stay hushed than wouldn't. I just think, 50 years ago, absolutely not. But nowadays, I just think the morality of the average person is fucking so deteriorated.
Well, I think the extreme left wing and their pedosexual bullshit, they'd be like, "What you're doing is a beautiful thing."
All right. Yeah, they'd almost do it for free. They're like, "Yeah, no, that's your sexuality." Those kids are totally consenting to it. Yeah, that whole fucking kids consenting thing is so ridiculous. Like, yeah, they might have said yes, but they can't consent. Well, yeah. And how often? My question would always be who was the aggressor? How often is it the kids? How often is it a fucking 8-year-old or 10-year-old or 12-year-old kid, or however old they fucking molest? How often is that kid the aggressor? How often is that kid the initiator of fucking sex?
Let's be fair, man. 4-year-olds want to sit on people's laps. That's not a sexual thing. They just want to sit on people's laps and cuddle.
Right. But that doesn't count that as initiating? Is that a joke?
It's not initiating sex. That's just kids like to be close to people and cuddle.
Right.
Like, are they taking that as being the person who's initiating? Because that's not in any way.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually, I heard a guy saying that, and he was like, dude, the girl was like going and rubbing up on my leg, and they're like, she's fucking 4.
Yeah.
There was nothing sexual about it. She was just fucking, she's 4 years old, and they fucking do that. And he really, they take that as fucking them initiating. But I mean, actually initiating, dude. Like, it essentially never happens, dude. Like, very rarely.
The thing is that kind of thing screws up any sort of rational conversation you could have about age of consent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big opponent of the whole draw a line in the sand thing. I'm not okay with that. I honestly think that it would be much better if if there was some sort of system where people could, once they were
some kind of
ready
evaluation.
Some sort of evaluation, medical and psychological, so that people were legally capable of consenting once they were actually capable of it, and not until then.
Yeah.
Because I think there's people both below the age of consent that probably can consent, and there's probably people above the age of consent that really shouldn't be allowed to consent.
Right.
That aren't capable of it.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't think there's any fucking anything that's foolproof or there's no completely right answer to the fucking problem.
I think this would cut down on the number of people going to jail for dating their girlfriend.
Yeah, or basically one day it's legal and literally the next day one of them has a birthday and then it's illegal. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
More and more states are doing Romeo and Juliet laws where they take that into account. But you could be 17 and your girlfriend could be 15. That's not that big of a difference.
Right.
And then you turn 18 and then suddenly you're fucking get 20 years in life 20 years to life in jail because you fucked your girlfriend, who you might have been dating for like a couple of years.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking, like, when I lost my virginity, I was 19 and a half, and the girl was 17. And she was absolutely the fucking aggressor, dude.
Yeah.
Like, she pursued me for months, dude. Like, no, you know, like, nonstop.
Yeah, and so you see what I'm saying.
So, yeah, but at that age, that's different than, obviously, what I'm talking about with, like,
no. But I'm saying that muddies the waters to the point where nobody is willing to have a rational discussion about anything to do with that. Because it's such a...
Although I guess 17 is the age of consent anyway. I was just thinking, like, hey, did I just fucking
it's 18 in California.
confess to a crime?
It's 18 in a lot of states. It's 17 in some states. I think there's even some where it's 16.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 17 here, dude.
And then I want to say in like Japan or France or something, it's like 14 or something like that. Mexico, it's like 14. It's just like that's my main reason. It's like if there's all these different states that have different ages and different countries that have different ages, then clearly we know 18 isn't like a rational thing. So
obviously there's no right answer to that fucking that question, dude.
Let me be clear. I think the number of people under 18 who are capable of consent is going to be an extreme minority of the population.
That's the thing. People don't realize, like, sex.
I think you're talking about 5% of the people. Maybe
that's the thing. Even I waited till I was almost 20, and it still was a fucking. I don't know that I was really ready for it then, dude. Like, it was a really powerful thing, dude. Like, it really messed me up, dude. Or not messed me up, but like it affected me a lot more than I thought it would.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So I wouldn't say I wasn't ready, but I definitely didn't realize how much fucking someone, as opposed to thinking about them while you're masturbating, like how much of a difference it is actually fucking someone.
The drive to procreate is a very powerful drive, and the chemicals and the brain chemistry that are involved in it are very strong.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oxytocin, good old oxytocin.
Well, it's not even just that. There's so much more involved. I mean,
yeah. That's true. Like, your brain pathways kind of set up that way to connect with that person. Like, I think that's the reason I kind of had trouble getting away from my ex too. Was I fucked her way more than I fucked any other girl. Like, any other girl that I'd ever been with, like I'd spent like 2, maybe 3 weeks at a time before ending the relationship. Like, I'd never been in a serious relationship, so I think the fact that I fucked her way more than the total of all the other women I've slept with was fucking why I had a hard time getting out of the relationship, or one of the reasons. No, obviously not all of them are the main one.
It's the same for a lot of women who are in shitty relationships too. It's just the chemicals and the brain chemistry changes and all that stuff that drives you to make more people really makes you fall in love with the person you're fucking. Whether or not that's a good thing or a person that's healthy for you to be with is entirely aside from that point.
Yeah, obviously it's not logical to fucking stay in those relationships, dude. How many fucking times I fucking left and came back and left and came back, and I should have been done fucking, pretty fucking early on, within the first couple of years of our relationship.
Oh. And it's really easy to get trapped in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and I never understood, like, when my friends would be doing that and, like, actually take them back. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then, I finally actually got in the relationship, and I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Well, there's also...
It just doesn't make sense.
There's also a couple of contributing factors of the amount of vulnerability that you're sharing with that person. You're getting naked. Naked is definitely not something people are usually comfortable with at this point in Western society. So you're sharing a really taboo-ish subject. Yeah,
I guess I kind of forgot that. My parents were kind of hippie-ish on that. Like, they didn't walk around naked or anything, but if you walked in on them while they were naked, they didn't freak out. Like, you know what I mean? They would, like, calmly cover up or whatever, but they never, like, freaked out about it and made it a big deal like it was something shameful.
Well, yeah. And it might not be the same for you. I'm just saying in general, it's a big
absolutely.
With somebody.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely
the way of trying to be like, how are you ever going to find somebody else that wants to put up with all your bullshit? Because the thing is, like, when you get in a relationship with somebody, there's a lot of bullshit that you both agree to put up with. That, you know, you probably are insecure about, they're probably insecure about, and there's a bond that forms from that, like, accepting of the acceptance of all those things you're insecure about. Like, oh, I picked my nose, and she doesn't fucking go, ew, gross, you're gross, I don't want to be with you. She's just like, oh, fucking whatever, you know. Oh, she picks her nose too, or whatever. Fucking, you walk in and see her like fucking scratching the hell out of her asshole because her asshole's all fucking itchy and shit. You're not gonna be like, oh, she's gross. I'm not gonna fuck her anymore. You're like, oh, whatever, you
know. Yeah. I think that was one thing that really sucked about mine was I was pretty tolerant on a lot of shit, and I couldn't really be honest with her because she was incredibly judgmental, man. Like, I couldn't be honest with her about my shit because she would like freak out about it, dude.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. Well, again, as I look back on it, there were fucking red flags numbering in the thousands over the years of why I shouldn't have been in that relationship. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's just, you know, there's a lot of stuff involved with those things. It's like you really. At a certain point, you just kind of got to like forgive yourself in the past and just be like, you know what, I was dumb, I was young, I made some bad choices. I don't have to make those anymore.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is, what if I did leave immediately? How connected am I with my son? I guarantee I can almost guarantee the relationship and the bond I have with my son isn't as strong as it is because I was around for the first 9-10 years, you know. So there's a real possibility that it's not as strong of a relationship if I wasn't around as much as I was.
If you'd left as soon as it got really bad, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, if I left 2 years into the relationship when he would have been basically a year old, you know, the dynamic of our relationship could have been completely different. You know, I might not have been a big deal to him at all. You know, I might have just been the guy that he sees on the weekends.
There's 2 points there, and I think both are valid points. There's one thing is to say that it's not, if somebody is truly abusive, it's not a real good reason to stay together for the kids because you can always make things work another way. But on the other hand, staying for the kids does make a difference in a lot of ways too. So it's like you can't deny either side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I stuck around at least long enough, but probably longer than I needed to. Almost certainly longer than I needed to.
Well, but there's no right or wrong answer with those things, I think.
Right.
Staying around or leaving, I think it's just whatever choice you make is the one you make. And you can't trip too much.
Yeah, and for me, once I realized, once I had the narcissistic or borderline stuff explained to me, that was when I was pretty much done. Or absolutely, that's when I was done. When I knew there was really no hope of her changing. Because I always kind of held out hope, like, she's got to grow up sometime. Like, she's got to mature, right? And once it was explained to me that is all, but it's technically possible, but it's really impossible, you know, for them to change. That's when I was done. I'm like, I'm not putting up with this for the rest of my life.
Well, did you even want to change?
Yeah. Do they? Well, that's the whole hook, right? That's the whole problem with people with like borderline is they have to know there's a problem, and that's almost impossible right there.
Any personality disorder. So there's a big difference between personality disorders and mental disorders. Personality disorders is just, it's an intrinsic part of who that person is, and what you're trying to change, what you're trying to make better, is not something you can medicate away. Like, that's who that person is at a very basic level.
Right. Yeah, that's the one I kind of trouble with, is because it's. Yeah, that's kind of has to be the reason. Although I always considered it, I thought it was a dissociative thing because it seems like you have to have some kind of disconnect to not realize that you're to blame for a lot of the fucking shit that's happening. You know,
there may be some dissociative qualities to it, but it's not the same thing as a dissociative disorder.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's what kind of always hung me up because I thought they were dissociative disorders like schizophrenia or like schizophrenia, I assume is associative, right?
There's a big difference. I don't know if there still is, according to like whatever fucking DSM is out now, that they're trying to basically push as many pills on as many people as they can. They might have combined the two, but that's not an accurate statement.
No, okay.
The difference is with schizophrenia and stuff like that, mental disorders, the person doesn't want to be that way. It's
like they're aware of the
problem. The brain chemistry.
Yeah,
there's some glitch in the brain that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
and you can help treat that with medication, and they can control the symptoms, and then they get to be the person they want to be, which is not the case with somebody like borderline. With borderline, that's who they are.
Right.
That's who they want to be. It's not a brain glitch. It's just who they are.
Right. Yeah, because you're talking about like if you want to change something like that, you really are. That's why it takes fucking couple decades to like make any progress.
You might make a small amount of progress over 10 years. You might make a little bit of progress in 10 years.
Yeah, and that's like being intensive.
You're not going to make any major changes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man, but god damn.
Sometimes people like that tend to mellow with older age, and they just tend to mellow out. But that's the same with everybody.
Right.
And that's usually what might make the difference, that they can start handling things a little better, because just after 60 years they just mellow.
Yeah, I couldn't wait around for it. I would have ended up fucking killing myself, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah. Much better off not.
Yeah, it sucks for those people, but yeah, it's just unfortunate that like I kind of pity them. Like it's hard to, but I kind of do pity them because like it's kind of not their fault. Like it's kind of just how things turned out for them. But then having them fuck with you the way they do is harder to pity them because they're fucking horrible.
It's one of those things where I don't think that you should have as much leeway if you have like a personality disorder as you should with a mental illness, like a standard mental disorder. I think they're two drastically different things.
Right. Yeah, well, again, I think a big part of it is people with the mental disorders, for the most part, I assume, realize that it's a problem. And I think that's, again, when you're talking about...
They know that they're not behaving normally. They know that, that they're doing things that are bad. They know that they don't want to be that way.
Right. Yeah, and again, personality disorders is, that's just who I am. Yeah. And then when she would say shit like, oh, well, when I love hard. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? So loving hard is being incredibly fucking abusive to your partner? Like, that's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rationalizations and fucking, it's really nuts. Like, I would always point the shit out to her and just laugh at her, which is probably not the best thing. But my friend I used to crack my friend up because, like, we'd be riding around. I think it was when I was in, like, sober living with them. But, like, we'd be driving around, and I'd be fucking talking to her, and me being such a fucking smartass, I'd be, like repeating the stuff back to her, like, you're fucking insane. Yeah, but anyways, he would fucking crack up. He would just be fucking laughing and giggling constantly at listening to me talking to the bitch. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, I'm glad I got custody of my boy, and she's fucking out. Although she's had 2 kids. She's gonna have a second kid, like, well, it'd be technically her 5th kid, but she'd already had one more kid after she got my son. After I got my custody of my son from her, and she's pregnant again, so she's about to have a second child since she lost custody of my son. Yeah. And I don't know how that happens because I don't think she stopped using. I think she's been getting high the whole time, so I don't understand how she still has custody, dude.
Maybe that guy isn't as interested. If he's not,
they're still together. They're still together. Like, they got married. Like, it's kind of one of those things where, like, if you have 2 narcissists together, like, they kind of are perfect for each other because they can kind of sign off on each other's bullshit and just treat each other like shit, but not really care, kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not explaining it right. Yeah, but the way I describe it and the way I kind of picture of it is a mutual hostage situation. Like I imagine them both holding guns to each other's heads, dude.
Like I know this about you, and if you fucking take off and tell everybody you're fucking shit. Oh yeah.
Yeah, not even that. Not even that. Just they're both incredible. I think I don't know the guy, but I kind of assume they're both like he's really controlling and like doesn't let her fucking go anywhere. Doesn't even let her have her own phone, like that kind of shit. You know, but then she's a fucking bitch that.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then she's kind of like, you know, abusive and fucking being a bitch to fucking whoever she's with. So I think they're both, in a sick way, kind of perfect for each other.
Well, I would want to give somebody who is mean and abusive.
But I do imagine it because of those things.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm just really proud of that mutual hostage analogy. Just imagining them both just fucking holding each other hostage, dude.
You're still holding on to a lot of that bitterness. You know, that's the normal human thing.
It's not. I guess what bothers me, I think what bothers me most is the lack of consequences for her, dude. Like how she's managed to avoid consequences, dude.
There's so many social situations in which people can just treat you like shit and never fucking pay up. Any price at all.
Right.
It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, other than being deprived of of being with me, I mean that's gotta suck. But I'm sorry, I could say it straight through. But yeah. Although again, I know she's. I mean, those people are basically going to be miserable too. So that's kind of like.
If you think about it, you probably treated her better than that guy's treating her now.
Yeah. Oh, I know for a fact I've treated her way better than any guy's ever treated her.
So then there's definitely some consequences right there. You're like, no guy, she's
although she does, but she doesn't feel that. Although no, she probably does actually. Not she would never admit it. But
it's not a big victory. It's more like a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah, right.
Yay, I won. It doesn't fucking matter, but I won.
Right. Oh man. But yeah, that's true because even like the last time we hooked up was like 2 years after we broke up, and like when she had broken up with her boyfriend at the time, and she was like kind of hinting at wanting to get back together, and I'm like, really? After this much time, you're still thinking that's a possibility? So there probably is almost certainly, I think now she probably, after that whole situation and me taking her to court and all that, I think now that's when she finally realized, like, oh shit, we're really not getting back together this time. Like, I don't think she even realized it had been 2 years. I think she'd been methed out of her fucking mind for so long that we were not together for a very long time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Actually, it had been 3 years at that point.
Well,
no, 2. It had been 2. I'm sorry.
And it's got to be difficult to even think about getting into a relationship again.
Right. Oh, I have no interest in it at all.
Yeah.
I actively avoid women, dude. I fucking literally, I'll fucking, I shouldn't say actively, that's a little strong, but like, I don't start conversations with women. I don't flirt with women. I don't joke around with them. If I can avoid interacting with any woman, I do so, dude.
Goddamn, dude. That's a lot of stuff to hold on to. I can't blame you, though. I knowing what I know about borderline, I can't blame you for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's the thing that's my assumption is, and it's probably not true. I think I'm a lot healthier mentally than I was when I first met her. But my assumption is, it's my nice little catch-22 is, if I'm attracted to her, she's crazy, and I should leave her the fuck alone.
I'll be fair. I make that same assumption.
I'm looking back through my history, and there were some decent girls in there. Or actually, I don't know. They could have been the same. You know what I mean? They could have been fucking horrible too. But I think there were some decent girls in there that I didn't end up dating. But overall, most of the women that was really attracted to We're goddamn fucking mental cases, dude. We're damaged goods. So, then again, I think that has most likely changed, but I still hold on to that because it helps keep me single and not worrying about all that shit.
I would say I'm probably in the same boat in and of like all the women I've been attracted to had serious issues, but probably like 50% of where you're at. You know what I mean? Like not nearly as bad.
Fuck you. I'm just kidding. I'm not getting offended about it. But yeah, I mean, it's like almost like
clanging noises on your side there. I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting this mic. I was picking up the computer so I can go get something and still stay on mic. All right, my apologies.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, what the fuck was that noise?
Someday I'm going to remember how sensitive this mic is and act accordingly. Like I'm opening this thing. You can probably hear it now that I'm thinking about it. I'm opening this little packet of my medication. Yeah. I don't know. Did that pick up? Did you hear that?
I don't know. I wasn't really listening that close.
All right. All right. So there's that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I kind of assume it's, I think most women are a little fucking nuts. I think it's just different degrees of crazy.
I'm not going to agree with you, but then again, I have a different experience. So I've met a lot of good friends that are girls that are just like totally fine.
Yeah, no, yeah, friends are great, dude. But something about being in a relationship, it seems like most of them go crazy at some point.
I think there's a real disconnect that people have between being a friend and being in a relationship where they seem to think that they have to be mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem is that a lot of people start off being like really good friends who occasionally fuck, and then, move into like a more in-depth relationship because they really start to like the other person.
Right.
More and more, it's the hormones and stuff kick in. And then they get into this weird societal trap where they feel like, well, now that we're a couple, this is the way we have to be. And it's not the same as how we were prior to being a couple. We got to be this new thing. Instead of just saying, you know what, everything we were doing before worked really well. Let's just keep doing that and just agree we're not going to do it with other people.
Yeah. Nothing needs to change. Like, I never understood that. Like, how people seem to feel like some kind of weight is on them once they get married. Like, dude, shouldn't it be the same as it was before you got married? But it's not. Like, they feel differently for some reason.
Crazy.
Right. I still, like I said, you're obviously not going to agree with me, but I think a majority of women are just nuts, dude.
Well,
just different degrees of crazy.
The thing I look at is with my parents, they weren't married until I was out of high school. So I got to see they were in a really healthy relationship. Yeah, they had fights. Yeah, there were some big fucking blowouts and stuff. I think at one point my dad actually like slapped my mom across the face. So she just slapped him right back. Kicked him out for a night. All that kind of crazy shit. But then they got married and they didn't change anything. And they were both totally fine. You know what I mean? It was a new thing that it was be this as well kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I think that's weird. Like, that's an interesting, like, dynamic or whatever we're going to call it, because why is there that much of a difference once? And again, it's not everybody, obviously, but I think it happens to quite a few couples.
The majority of
get married, they feel like they have to get different. Yeah. Like I said, the ones that fucking last.
Break up.
Right. Yeah. I think the ones that last are just the ones that don't feel that way or don't feel like something has to change just because of getting fucking married.
Or even just being boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people go from casual to serious and just they just
falls apart.
Everything needs to change and they treat each other completely differently and then suddenly they don't like each other. And I think it's partially just the general fear of like acceptance. Like you're not
acceptance, rejection. Yeah.
Like, this is who I really am. This is what I really want out of a relationship. And putting that out on the table early on is really not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's something that's got to build up. And I guess that's probably like with my ex. Like I don't understand how quickly she can so quickly be into another fucking relationship. Like when we break up, she'd be seeing somebody else within like a week or two.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can be ready that quickly, and how you like, because she would act. It's always weirded me out, but like every person that she would date, like that was the greatest person they'd ever met. Like that she would always fucking think that or say that shit.
That's the borderline. They're either the best or they're the worst. There's no middle ground. That's why it's called borderline.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Jesus, what the fuck? Why didn't I think of that? That's pretty fucking basic. Yeah. Okay.
I somehow managed to stay. Like we've worked with a few borderline clients where I work when I was working day shift still, and I had this magical ability to always be the best ever and never the worst with the borderline for the very. To be fair, none of them ever lasted more than like 2 or 3 months.
All right.
But somehow I managed to stay always on that good side. But man, I got to see like if you were on that bad side, they were not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. I obviously I can imagine it, but
well, I can't, man. I can't. I mean, I saw a little bit of it. I can't imagine if the level of difference in magnitude of being in a relationship with that person on top of like having. Like we have professional boundaries, so there's only so much damage they can really do.
Right. Yeah, they might hurt your feelings a little, but I mean, it's not the same as fucking ripping your fucking heart out.
You're only there for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You're not there 24/7.
Right.
24/7. That you're invested in a relationship. You've got this emotional investment. You're not maintaining a professional distance, and you don't get to go and fucking go home and take a vacation or take a couple of days off or call in sick because it's really rough this week.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing that kind of makes it tough, because it's like as a guy, like I don't want to admit how emotionally fucking painful it was, because I'm not supposed to. You know what I mean? Like I know that's bullshit, but I still have a hard time with that. Yeah, like, I know it's bullshit that but I don't know. It's weird. I got to be the fucking macho and something.
Admitting to weakness, no matter whether or not it's considered weakness by anybody else, is always difficult. It's an interesting aspect of my panic attacks that nobody can tell when I'm having them, unless I tell them, because the way I grew up, like when I was kindergarten, I used to get beat up every single day that I'd leave the house. Like, and it's awful things, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's all in the past. But, you learn when you're in that kind of situation, like you don't show weakness. So like if you're really tired or if you're like in pain, you just don't show it. And it's not like the case where I think like, oh, I'm just being tough or something like that. But it's like, oh, yeah. I can put a screwdriver through my hand. Well, I better just go put a Band-Aid on it because I can't let anybody know that hurt.
Right. Yeah. You know what? That's true. I think I had learned that because my sister was certainly borderline or narcissistic or whatever. As I learned, the best way to react is to not react. To fucking don't show that it's hurting you. Don't let her know that it's bothering you. And she would get fucking furious, dude. She would end up getting pissed off when I wasn't getting pissed off or wasn't getting sad or whatever. And I kind of basically carried that same mentality into my relationship with her. And, like when we weren't fighting, she'd be like, talking about how even when she would try to attack me just to get a response, which I thought was pretty sick, but maybe not, I don't know. Like she would deliberately fucking say shit to fucking piss me off or try to piss me off and try to get me to attack her or fucking yell or whatever. And I just wouldn't do it, because I didn't want to give her, same thing that I was dealing with my sister. And so, if I fucking react, that means you fucking win. And I'm not letting you win.
Yep. Yep, it makes sense. And then those kind of things that are ingrained when you're young are really difficult to let go of when you're older, even if you recognize them as to not be as useful or beneficial anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yep, pretty crazy, man.
Yay!
All around.
And that's the end of our fucking psychology part.
Oh shit, you got to go, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I was wrapping it up right now. I think it came to a natural end though. Like I didn't have to jump and be like, I gotta go, I gotta run. But yeah, thank you guys out there in land for joining us.
Anybody that's stuck around this long.
Yeah, really. Anybody that stuck around this long, fucking congratulations, because that's awesome.
All right. Cool.
And yeah, Antonio Studios signing off there.